According to The Economist, Italy's non-diverse team is a problem.
What?
Not a problem for footballers.
Hang on. Because they're always talking about it in England as like the diverse team because they've got different skin tones. Look at that picture.
Yeah, none of them are white.
The Italians aren't white. This is 100% diverse.
I honestly don't think so, right? But I love the quote here. The most striking.
They're all blacker than the black MP from Liverpool, aren't they?
Well, exactly. But they're European, but Europe is a diverse continent.
Stand by what I said.
Yeah. The most striking aspect of Italy's 26-man squad before it took to the pitch was that alone among the main contenders, it did not include a single player considered as being of colour.
Considered by who?
Well, not me, because I consider them all to be players of colour.
That's what I mean. Like, you're going to get the race court out that's going to decide these things.
Get the swatch out, Peter Griffin style.
But you can't even do that, because as for the black MP in Liverpool, the Peter Griffin swatch doesn't work. So you've got to come up with a legal definition of black, which presumably is going to be the one-drop rule, in which case that's all of Italy.
Literally all of it. Right, just to be clear, right, we are not race politicians. We think that race is not a valid category for politics.
Which is why it's so funny to call the Italians black.
Yes, but also for anything, really. Like, it means absolutely nothing that the Italians are any kind of race, really. Who cares, right? But I really find it interesting that that's the most striking aspect, is it? The most striking aspect, it's not their victory. It's not the fact that they won. Oh, no, that's not striking. It's the fact that they're all Italian. Is that really a marvel in the modern age, is it? But it's like, in my opinion, I think
the eighth wonder of the world has been discovered.
Yeah, the Italian football team's made up of Italians. But no, I think that's more revealing about the people who are looking rather than the thing that they're looking at. But anyway, I mean, like, the Mediterraneans are all olive. That is a colour.
Like, this is the whole point of why race is a stupid thing. Because it gets ridiculous. Like, you point to the Syrians and like people are like, yeah, they're not white. And then you point to the Italians like, yeah, they're white. And you're like, how?
But these
on what basis?
There was an amazing one I saw going around. It was, someone screenshotted a bunch of tweets, and someone had posted this picture of, I guess, I would describe him as a Mediterranean-looking man. He had fairly pale skin and green eyes, and he was like, "Oh, this guy's going to be playing like a Prince of Egypt or something like that." And this one SJW had been like, "How could they?" Blah 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 blah. And then it's like gives him the Arab name. It's like, he is an Egyptian.
Yep,
this is a man from Egypt. Like, it's not as simple as you think. But anyway,
all racial constructs look silly.
That's ridiculous
when they interact with reality.
Yes. But anyway, going into the article itself, right? And it's just literally an article obsessing over the race of the Italians and how this is a victory for the right.
The Economist.
Yeah, The Economist.
The economic news.
Yeah, breaking economic news.
The Italian team all white.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, maybe in your opinion. But anyway, they then go, to the extent that any sporting event can have an impact on politics, this one unquestionably favoured the right. Ooh. And not just the league, but even the harder right. Ooh. Brothers of Italy Party, which is in opposition. The most striking aspect of Italy's 26-man squad before it took the pitch is that among the main contenders did not include a single player considered to be a person of colour, although 3 were born in Brazil. Brazilians, you're not white now, according to The Economist. Well, Brazil's a Portuguese colony, so I agree with that.
But also, just like if you got the Peter Griffin swab chart out, the meme itself, many of those people in that picture don't fit the definition of white.
Absolutely. But why are we even having this conversation, The Economist? What is the?
Because diversity is big business.
Well, we'll get to that, actually. But the publication of the team photograph prompted a slew of criticism on social media, particularly in France. The French are like, ugh, Italians. I mean,
did they do the Trevor Noah thing of declaring them all African?
I don't know. Okay. They don't tell us, but they just recoiled in horror when a picture of Italians were presented to them. And there was further criticism of the squad's ambivalent approach to taking a knee as a gesture of opposition to racism. Only some of the Italian players knelt before the game against Wales. They subsequently took the odd decision they should all do so, but only if the opposing team did. French leftists can just shut up, to be honest.
No one needs their opinion on this.
Yeah, but this is the best bit. Almost every country has learned that, in sport, diversity brings dividends. Indeed, medals and cups.
How's the England one feeling about that statement?
I'm sure that they're taking solace in the fact that they have kings on their team rather than winners. In Italy, the team that won over the diverse England team that lost, although it has a smaller and more recently acquired immigrant population.
The Italian team isn't all white. I just can't get over how people talk in these concepts. They're like, yeah, the Italian team, all white, clearly not. And they're like, yeah, that means diversity has lost here.
Yeah. Did they not know that diversity brings dividends to the team they beat?
Like, why not? I feel like the win for the leftists here would be to turn around, say the Italian team isn't white, look at them, and then get the Peter Griffin swab shot out, because I don't know what else racial nationalists are going to do, and then be like, therefore diversity still wins.
I mean, maybe.
Why are they not doing that?
I don't know, to be honest. They practically are, to be honest. One reason that talented young sports people of colour in Italy are not nurtured through junior national teams in part of the early parts of their career is they're not Italians.
Sorry, what?
The Italians only have Italians on the Italian football team. And that...
What's it got to do with race?
Well, I don't know, but that's not good for the Italians because it's not diverse. I mean, it might win football cups if that's the sort of thing you're concerned about, football, but it's not diverse, and so that's a problem. And that is the way that Mr. Salvini and the brother of Italy's leader, Giorgia Meloni, want it to stay. Well, I mean, it seems to be bringing home the bacon, doesn't it? They're winning competitions.
Yeah, well, that's not important.
No, but excuse me. What this is all about is the different kinds of form of citizenship. Now, most of the New World has birthright citizenship, as in if you are born in a place, you're a citizen of a place. However, most of the Old World has descendant citizenship. So it's jus sanguinis, as in from the blood, whereas the other one is, what's it called? I do have a jus soli, from the soil.
Speaking European languages,
Yeah,
not happy about it.
It's worse. It's actually Latin, so it's from Italy as well. So yeah, Italy's law is a form of jus sanguinis, so nationality is inherited, which makes sense.
Yeah, this isn't controversial.
Yeah,
This is how the entire old world works.
Yeah, literally everywhere in the world, apart from the colonies in the New World, work this way. And now the colonies in the New World are going, how could you? How dare you? Because this is how it's done. Why would like someone being born in Italy to like an English family necessarily have to be Italian?
That makes you Italian.
Yeah.
I mean, this is absurd. Like, if I go to Russia with an English girl, we conceive a child and we have it, it's Russian. That's a stupid idea.
I mean, I used to live on an English colony in Germany, a British colony in Germany.
Well, congratulations, Kraut.
Well, exactly. I'm not a German. That's the point. I wasn't born there, but I had friends who were, and they're British. They don't get German citizenship because they were born in Germany. It's not how it works. It's not how anything works. It's ridiculous. What's your German heritage? Well, none. I mean, I lived in Germany for a while, therefore I am a German. Guten Tag. I am guilty of Nazism. Like what?
I drank the German water.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. Like, you're literally saying that the English descendant person who's born on German soil, because they conquered the Nazis, that we have the bases in Germany because we defeated the Nazis, now has to take on the cultural guilt of the Germans for being Nazis. It's mad. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever, right? But of course, yeah. So they're complaining that Italy's citizenship law is a modified form of jus sanguinis, whereby the right to nationality is inherited. Children born in Italy to immigrant parents cannot usually apply to become Italian until they reach the age of 18. Look, they can apply to become Italian citizens, but they can't say, well, now I'm an Italian. So it doesn't make sense. Some never do, but I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm for us having civic national identity. That's fine, we can have that. But there is also ethnic national identity, and I don't think you can just subvert it by saying, sorry, now anyone's an Italian. If anyone's Italian, no one's an Italian. That's the point, it's abolishing all of these things. But anyway, so this of course is being opposed by the left in Italy, who want Enrico Letta wants to make it a priority to change the law to allow for a form of jus soli, whereby the right to nationality arises from places of birth. Yeah, but it's not about right, is it? Like it's a privilege to go to another country and become a citizen there. That's a privilege, right? You do not have a right to someone else's citizenship. But if they extend it to you, then you should be grateful for that. That's a good thing that they've done. That's a charitable thing.
You don't even have a right to enter their country.
No.
Why would you have a right to their citizenship?
It's so weird, isn't it? It's such a bizarre way of looking at the world.
Just imagine leftists like banging on the Russian border being, let me in, I have a right to Russia. And there's Russians who say, what's wrong? with the West? Like, what are they doing?
Well, not just Russia, literally every other country. It's
Yeah.
like, what's wrong with the West?
I know. I use Russia as an example, just
Yeah.
as an example.
Well, talking about heredity and citizenship.
Moving on.
But why does it have to be changed? That's the thing. Why can't the way that things are done, why the immigrants, why wouldn't they respect the way that the Italians do things? What, like, coming to someone's country and saying, right, now you have to change it for me. That's the sort of thing you do after a war has been lost. I mean, literally why we were in Germany instantly, so I just don't like it. But they just keep complaining. After Sunday's match, both party leaders tweeted images of the members of the Italian squad celebrating, broad smiles on their face. It will do neither politician any harm that none of those faces were black. So the right-wing politicians aren't going to be harmed because there weren't any black people on the Italian squad. Were we talking about economics again? What are you blithering about? Right? With the black British footballers who miss penalties, suffering vicious racist abuse online, European football's big night was not a great one for multiculturalism. God. Boo-hoo. If you enjoyed this segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can watch the full broadcast live every weekday at 1 p.m. UK time on lotuseaters.com.